guys, so today's video is going to be over the brand new Natasha Denona Sunrise palette. This basically got released a few days ago on Instagram and stuff, and Beautylish will be carrying it, her website will be carrying it, as well as Sephora, but I was super excited when my stepmom ordered this. She loves Natasha Denona shadows, so she's always the first one to order everything that she releases. This palette is definitely different and kind of special, so that's why I wanted to get my hands on it, get a video out about it, and use some of the shades. So if you want to see the tutorial that I did create using this palette, then please keep on watching. So I kind of created like this halo red purple eye, which we will get in the tutorial in a little bit. I had an issue with one shade when using this palette, though that had to be about it though. There really wasn't anything else that seemed to have caused an issue. One thing I want to say that I do like and that I think a lot of people are liking about this palette though is the size and the price point. So basically what she did, she took her normal fuller size eyeshadow palette, cut it in half price wise, so I believe this is $65, and she also basically cut the pan size in half, or kind of just took like 3/4 of the pan size out. So they definitely are a little bit smaller. The palette itself is smaller and the price point is lower. $65, like I do say at the end of the video, is still expensive for an eyeshadow palette, but it's definitely a lot better than $130 for an eyeshadow palette. So you kind of just have to get what you take when you get with Natasha Denona, because it's an expensive eyeshadow brand, but her quality is really good. And like I said, there is only one shade in here that I did use that I wasn't too pleased with, which kind of sucks again for $65, but you're gonna have kind of shades in every eyeshadow palette, no matter the price point, where it's just kind of just hit or miss shades sometimes. But for $65, I'm kind of like, okay, I really would like them all to work and perform to the best of their ability. So this is what the eyeshadow palette looks like. Right here you get a lot of purples and reds and yellows. You get a really fun like bluish purple duochrome. You get some gold shades. Really pretty and perfect for summer. So whenever I filmed this tutorial, I used 6 shades on my eyes, so you will be able to see probably about half the shades being used today. I hope you guys do enjoy the look I did create. I was feeling kind of like the red summery yellow vibes. I have like a red little shirt on. I had a red lip paired with this, but it was just a little too much, so I went with some like more of a berry color to kind of tie in with the purple on my eyes. But I hope you guys do enjoy this tutorial. I will go more in depth when I am bleeding out all the shades and anything like that. Everything will be linked down below. The palette, everything I use for my face will also be down there just in case you're interested, but let's just go ahead and jump straight into the tutorial. Okay, so I already did one eye off camera. I normally like to do this just so I can kind of get a feel for the eyeshadow palette, see what I want to do. This is basically what I did with like a halo reddish purple eye. I've seen some tutorials on YouTube where most people are using this Aster shade right here, which is kind of like a blue purple duochrome. It's really pretty, but I didn't want to use that because it's already been done so many times. So I used a bunch of different shades to kind of mix 2 glitters together, which were really pretty. But I do like the way this eye turned out. I do like the lashes. I can't think of the lashes off the top of my head, but I believe they are the Eyelure lashes. They're kind of in like this case. I will find them on Ulta's website, link them down below for y'all. But we're gonna go ahead and start with the other eye. I already did my brows. I just used a Maybelline Brow Precise micro pencil. This is in the shade probably like blonde or brown or something like that. I basically just put concealer on. I used my Maybelline Master Conceal, set it with the Wet n Wild Color Icon Reserve Your Cabana powder. And now we're just gonna start. I definitely did tape off my edges though, because I do like that kind of nice crisp line. Okay, so now that we're closer up, y'all can kind of see the eyeshadow. I definitely like it, and I have like, you know, a red shirt on. I want to do a red lip, like we're doing the full red look today. I'm just feeling the color red. So I know I went over the palette in the beginning of the video, but I really like this, and I thought it was pretty cool, honestly, how she came out with a smaller palette, half the price, smaller pan size that is the catch here. So you're basically paying half the price for half the pan size. But the size compared to the bigger palettes is almost better because it's more travel friendly. They're not as big. Sorry, I'm like shining my ring light in there. They're definitely not as big size wise for the palette, and I do like that, and I do like the shades in here, and I feel like this is just screams summer. Taking this shade right here called Morning. So all I did with this shade basically was put this down as my transition shade. This is I almost went back to this eye. This is a little bit deeper than my skin tone, and it has kind of like a burnt orange undertone to it, so I just buffed this into the crease. We will go in with this shade periodically to really intensify it, as well as one of the yellows, but I like this shade the most for just kind of like that first transition color. And since we will be doing a halo eye, I'm going to obviously focus the darker colors on this outer corner over here and the inner corner. But now that we have that shade down, I'm gonna go in with kind of something that's just a little bit deeper. Taking this shade right here called Citrine. This is the brightest yellow in the palette, and I basically just took a little bit of that on a Morphe M502 brush, and I put this directly into the crease. It kind of brightened up that mustardy yellow shade a little bit more. And I really liked how it kind of gave like a gradient, like sunset look, especially over here with the purples and the reds. So I'm just blending that in with the crease shade. I'm not really taking it down anywhere, and I'm not bringing it up too high. Now to start building up the inner and outer corner, I'm going to take this shade right here called Jasper. This is kind of like a burnt red shade, and I'm basically going to take this and only put it right here on the outer V of our eye. I'm not going to take it in very far at all because I do want to put a purple shade here with it. So I'm just going to be tapping this color into place. Now that shade is down, I'm going to go with this purple shade right here called Glory. This is the purple shade that we will be applying right by the red shade before we put down our concealer for a halo. So I'm just going to tap this basically right next to the red, kind of blend the red and the purple together, but I'm not taking this up into the crease. Now I'm going to go back in with that brush we used with the yellow shade on it and kind of blend the crease out. So now we're going to take a little bit of the Maybelline concealer that we use to conceal our eyes, and this is the concealer that we're going to use to make the halo effect. So I'm just going to take a little bit of this on this like Sephora, I don't even know what, Must Have Precision Cream Shadow Brush. They don't even make this brush anymore, but you can find a lot of brushes that have the same shape. So I'm going to pick up a little bit of that concealer. I'm going to tap it down, and then I'm going to actually shut my eye and see where the concealer hits. That way I know how far I need to go up. I do have hooded eyes, so I do like to take my color up a little bit higher. That way you can fully see it. Once you have that concealer, I'm going to take my MAC 242 brush. I'm going to spritz it with some Fix Plus. I always do this no matter what shadow I use. We're gonna go with this red shade right here. I believe this may be called like Phylox or something. I have no idea how you pronounce this, but this is the red shade that I did put down first right here on the halo part of our eye. And then I do go over it with a different shade to kind of brighten it up a little bit. Now that that is down, I'm going to take a little bit of Jasper, which is that red shade that we did use. I'm going to re-intensify the inner and outer corners with it. And then we'll go back in with Glory, which is the purple shade, and kind of blend everything together. And in between these colors, I am using a color switch. That way I can get the red shade off because I really like this brush. This is a BH Cosmetics Studio Pro brush number 8. So now going back a little bit of the purple shade. Really kind of working those two shades together. And I'm going to take this brush right here into the crease. That way I can blend the top part of the halo out. One thing I am noticing that I noticed on this eye though is right here, this purple shade is almost becoming a little harder to blend out on the edges. So without any extra product, I'm just going to go with this brush right here and kind of blend them out. This happened on the other eye as well. So maybe this purple shade's just a little bit harder to blend out. But I'm going to then take a smaller blending brush with a little bit of Citrine, which is that yellow shade. I'm going to blend out the crease. Go back in with our transition shade brush. I'm definitely not a fan right here of this line. I don't know what that is. It definitely doesn't look like that over here, so I find that very weird. I don't want to blend anymore because I feel like it's just going to blend the colors away and I can't really get that line to blend out. So I'm going to now take my MAC 242 again. I'm gonna go with this shade right here called Awakening. This is a shade that we're gonna put right here on top to kind of add some brightness to that red shade we did apply. It's not the brightest thing ever, so I wanted to just add something on top of it. I think that will be it. I really do not like this line right here, but I don't want to blend too much more because I don't want it to just blend everything away. It's almost kind of like the shadow just settled right where the concealer was, but I find that very odd, especially for a $65 palette. Shouldn't be doing that. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply just a little bit of black liner on my lash line. That way I can put my lashes on. I'm going to use the Pretty Vulgar, what is this? Pretty Vulgar, the ink gel eyeliner in 01 Blacklist. And then I'm going to apply these lashes. I'm going to do the rest of my face makeup and then we will come back for the lower lash line and wrap this video up. Okay, so I have the rest of my face makeup on. For foundation, I use the Fenty Beauty foundation. I use the Kat Von D Lock It Concealer. To set that, I used my Ulta Fabulous Face Pressed Powder. Bronzer was from the Physicians Formula Bronze Booster like trio thing. I used this in one of my recent testing out new makeup products video with the Casey Holmes palette. Blush is the Milani blush in 01 Romantic Rose. And then highlighter, I wanted something more golden and I've already put it on my face, my inner corner, and my brow bone. I used the Flower Beauty highlight palette and I used like the more golden-y one over here. But right now we're going to finish up the lower lash line, and normally what I like to do to the top, I will do to the bottom. So on a little like flat definer brush, I'm going to mix together the yellow shade and like the purple shade, or not purple, the reddish shade, the Jasper shade, and I'm going to press this on my lower lash line. And then on a fluffy brush with a little bit of that yellow shade, Citrine, I'm going to buff it out. And then I'm going to apply some of my lower lash mascara, which is my Wet n Wild one. Okay, so the last thing we basically have left is lips, and I have this red lipstick, like I did say I wanted to use. We're gonna just apply it, see what it looks like. It is from L'Oreal. It is in the shade 312 Ravishing Red. Like I said, I'm feeling red today, so that's very bright. I don't know. I don't think I'm liking the red. We're gonna skip out on the red because now I just have like this red stuff on my lips. So I'm actually just gonna take this off real quick and then I'm going to pick out a different shade. Okay, so this is again really affordable. It's from Wet n Wild. This is in the shade 912C in the Flesh. And that's basically going to be everything for this video. So what do you guys think of the look? What do you think of the lip color combo? I have to say my only complaint about this palette is that purple shade. I feel like it just really didn't blend that well on the edges whenever I did the halo with the concealer and the shimmer shades. I don't know, and it is called the shade Glory. So maybe it's just an issue with that shade because it really was the only one that kind of just meh for me. I do like the palette though, and I do like the color scheme. I definitely think it screams summer. I like how she cut the cost in half and you kind of get half the pan size. I think it's smarter for traveling. I think it's a lot easier for people to purchase. It's not $125, $130 palette. Yes, $65 is still very expensive for an eyeshadow palette, but when you take her palettes and cut it in half, it seems a little bit more reasonable if you love eyeshadow, if you're maybe an eyeshadow palette collector, if you just love makeup in general. I think this is a lot easier on the bank dependent upon, if you want to spend the money on a palette like this. Hopefully she makes future palettes in this size and at this price point because I do like it. That one purple shade just kind of threw me for a curveball, but that would probably have to be the only issue. So I hope you guys did enjoy today's video. I will have everything linked down below just in case you are interested in any of the products. This is going to be released on her website at Sephora, Beautylish. Ulta will not be getting it sadly, but definitely check on Sephora and Beautylish if you're interested in it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe and I'll see you guys later. Bye y'all.